Hey team, wanted to make a quick video because I made it back to Minnesota. I already made a little blurb saying, yay, rental car, I made it back. But I wanted to make a little bit longer of a video. So I did get a rental car and I drove it back to Minnesota from Texas. I actually left kind of later in the day. I was hoping to get it done. I was hoping to sell Ruby Tuesday when I was there on Saturday, but the tow truck company was not picking her up in a timely fashion. I called and it was taking like 2 hours for them to come out. And then I called again, like I called 3 times just to, after the, like an hour and a half, I was like, so what is the ETA? And then the person said, oh, they're coming. And then I called again, because it was 4 o'clock and the place I was selling the car to closed at 5, and I saw somebody coming and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, yours didn't get entered, even though I had just I had called twice before, and she's like, they're on their way. So it was a little frustrating, and I knew that we weren't going to make the time to get there. I just said, hey, let's call it off. I will do it later in the week. I had the rental car at that point. I was hoping to get it wrapped up and then get the things sorted that I needed to get sorted in Minnesota. And it just wasn't working out. So I asked the car place if I could leave Ruby Tuesday there for a couple days. And they said, yeah, that's fine. So I drove up to Minnesota. It was like probably 4 o'clock, 4:30 that I got on the road. I slept along the road. I stopped for gas and then ended up at a parking rest area. There were primarily trucks, but there were a few cars around. It wasn't like a traditional rest area where they have like facilities, and I've noticed that kind of down south there are like up here in Minnesota, I've never really seen like just places for trucks to park, like truck parking. We have a lot of rest stops, and so most of them have the traditional bathrooms and vending machines and things like that. So that was kind of unique, seeing the signs for truck parking. And you'll find trucks that park other places and at travel centers too. And but I've not noticed that really in the state of Minnesota, at least where I've been, where it's just truck parking, no facilities whatsoever. So, but I pulled over and I slept for a couple of hours, and I think it was about 4, and then I got back on the road for a couple hours, but I got kind of bored. And so I was like, why am I awake right now? Let's just go back to bed. So then I found another gas station, and I slept for another like 3 hours. And then I got back on the road, and I got through, I think that one was in Kansas, because I went Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and then Iowa. Well, a little bit of Missouri, Iowa, and then Minnesota. So it was literally an overnight trip. It was 4 o'clock, 4:30, and then sleep, get up the next day, and drive through. And I got back in Minnesota at about, I think it was about 4 o'clock there as well, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So, woohoo, I made it. It was a bit of a long jaunt, but I was able to sleep pretty well. I had my weighted blanket, so I just curled up on the seat here. And overall, it was a pretty good experience. I'd say everything fit in the car, and I was a little nervous because it's a rental car, and I was like, I don't want to hurt it. This is all really nice. It's almost brand new if it's not brand new, And so I was like, this is a very nice car. And my last car, Ruby Tuesday, obviously, she's, felt my love and my footprint of life. And so we were very, very casual and a little sloppy. And so coming in here, I was like, don't touch anything. But it turned out okay. So we got up here. It's a gray car. I did play with it a little bit. I played with the tech, and I used I plugged in my phone, and Ruby Tuesday was a 2010, so I wasn't able to plug in my phone and play with the Google Maps before and, the calling through the car. And so I was kind of putzing a little bit. It was very fun. I'll make a separate video about this car, just because I thought it was very fun to, have this cultural experience. But otherwise, overall, we got up here. I got everything out of the car, and now I have no idea what I'm doing with it. I should bring it to storage pretty quick, and then I was trying to figure out if I am moving south now or if I'm not moving south because I am not getting another car that I'm aware of. I briefly thought about getting a junker and then just using that for the interim, but then I was like, well, but then, and I'm not getting I was thinking the public transportation and just like, working close by to where I live and figuring out, just like biking or walking, I'm in fairly good shape and it'll be good for me to walk and to do those things instead of just driving everywhere. But I have a penchant for having my bicycle stolen. I've had 2 stolen in the past. So I do want to try an e-bike, and I haven't priced them out. And so I don't know how that would work out, or maybe like doing a car sharing program. I've seen those around the cities, but I don't want to be in the cities. I would like to go south just because I do believe it's a cultural experience, to be beyond these borders and to experience different places. And, I've lived here for a very long time. And otherwise Wisconsin that's still the Midwest. So it was very enlightening. I enjoyed my trip down south. So I don't know what's going to happen at this point. But I do know that I have to go back down south. I did invite my parents to come along because they're both retired, and but they have plans already for this week, and I can't leave I can't leave Ruby Tuesday in the parking lot of this place for too long. I don't want to overstay my welcome. So I do need to get back down there. So I will probably figure that out in the next couple of days. So otherwise, I will keep you posted about what's going on. Everything got put on hold, I guess. The agriculture, mobile ag is what I was calling it. And so I don't know. I don't really want a traditional lease anymore, like a 12-month or a 6-month. I liked the freedom of the car, and so and I don't want to live at home with my parents, so I'm not sure what I'm going to land on yet. And I don't want to go into debt. So I don't want like a full-blown mortgage, and I don't want to get the electric car that I was on the horizon and I did want. I don't want to purchase that right now. So I don't know what's going to happen next, but I will keep you posted, and it should be exciting regardless. Thanks so much. We'll talk later. Bye.